Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Jen. Good morning. How are you?
It is Judgment Night for LeBron James. Is he the quote-unquote GOAT? Or is he just an aging Billy Goat? You had those in your out in the barnyard, didn't you?
Whatever.
Yeah. Here we go.
Judgment Night, Game 5. That's what it comes down to. Oh, okay. Well, if it's that important, Skip, that is where we will start today. LeBron and the Lakers find themselves tied with the Suns at 2 games apiece, heading into Game 5 tonight. Anthony Davis is unlikely to play in the game, according to reports, after suffering a groin strain. Fox Bet Sportsbook has the Suns as 5-point favorites. And yes, I had to check that number, 5-point favorites. Shannon, how important is tonight for your guy, LeBron James?
So let me get this straight. A 4-time champion, 4 times finals MVP, 4-time league MVP, 13-time first team All-NBA, in one game tonight is going to change someone's perception of LeBron James?
Maybe.
No, it's not. Because here it is. You are where you are with LeBron. Knowing what he's accomplished in this league, and now one game is going to change that, I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe LeBron James will play extremely well tonight. Now, will that be well enough for them to win? That remains to be seen. But I expect LeBron James, although he was picking his spots, he knows now with no AD, he won't be allowed to pick as many spots. He'll have to keep it going a lot more, a little longer than what he normally does. I don't know how much rest time. They were trying to maintain his minutes, but over the last couple of games, we've seen his minutes creep up, 37, 38, almost 39 minutes. I believe he'll be somewhere around in that vicinity, somewhere between 38 and 40 minutes in this ball game. My only concern, who's going to come along with LeBron? Who is the other guy that can give them 20? We've seen Schroeder play extremely well. Didn't play so well on Sunday. Kuzma has some good rebounding games, but really hasn't found his niche in scoring. Maybe he takes a little bit more of that onus because now his role is going to change a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be interesting to see for me, Skip. How does Frank Vogel, what does he do with this lineup with no AD? Who does he start in AD place? If KCP can't go, now they're hoping he can return.
They say he will return.
So if he returns, how long will he be able to go? But for me, Skip, I don't believe this game will have a bearing one way or another on how we look at LeBron James. Given his history, what he's been able to do, one game is not going to change anyone's perception of him.
Yeah, but you're the only man in the world who actually believes he's already the GOAT.
No, there are other people. There are other people who believe that.
There might be 3 or 4. But the point is...
100 million.
What's that?
300 or 400 million.
304. Okay, thank you. I believe that Michael Jordan is clearly and forever the GOAT. I don't believe LeBron could do anything to change that. But I will give you this. Tonight is a huge opportunity for him, late in his career, year 18, to make a resounding statement that he has launched his team at Phoenix as a 5-point underdog without Anthony Davis against Chris Paul, who is suddenly healthy, and the 51-21 second seed Phoenix Suns. If he could pull this off tonight and it became the launching point for them to go back-to-back championships, where people sat back at the end of this playoff run and said, wow, what LeBron accomplished in year 18 is just off the charts. No one's ever done this in year 18.
You know good and well, they're not going back-to-back without Anthony Davis. That's not happening.
So you're writing them off, and you've got the GOAT, and you've got the best player on the planet? You keep telling me he is currently the best player on the planet.
Skip, that's besides the point. The best player on the planet. Let's just say the best player on the planet is Kevin Durant. Is he winning a title without James Harden and Kyrie? No, he's not. You do know.
I don't know. Who else does he have around him?
That's my point. Who else does LeBron have around him?
You have been raving about the big penguin. You have been telling me, drum dog millionaire. What a pickup he was at midseason for the Lakers.
You said the same thing about Blake Griffin. You've been cooling over Joe Harris. Can anybody shoot the 3 better than Joe Harris?
Okay, so I do. I like their team without KD and Harden. I mean, I'm saying Kyrie and Harden.
Do you like them enough to say they would win the title without Kyrie and Harden? No.
I'd give them a shot to win the East.
Against Milwaukee?
Yep, I would. What has Milwaukee done? What have they accomplished? When the rubber meets the road, where is Giannis?
Let's not get off topic.
Not too far. Okay.
But Skip, you and I both know, without Harden and without Kyrie, the Bucks would sweep the Nets.
I don't know that. You said we weren't off topic. Now
we go back and go, James.
Oh, that's like a little sneak attack. Let's just go back, and then you're going to take one last shot, so I can't respond. I got it. Okay, so tonight, as a 5-point underdog, is a legacy opportunity for LeBron, because this is one of those games you might always remember LeBron for. What do you always talk about? Game 6 of the 2012 playoff run, right?
The Eastern Conference Finals, though.
Okay, I got it. But you called it a legacy game because obviously LeBron had flamed out in the 2011 Finals, his first go-around with the Heat. And they were down 3-2 going back to Boston, right? And I can tell you, because I was at ESPN, there were a whole lot of analysts at ESPN who were starting to doubt LeBron James. And a lot of them drove over from Bristol, Connecticut to Boston, Massachusetts, just to see how LeBron performed in that game. And he went huge in that game, as you well remember. He went for 45 that night, although the Celtics went 1 of 14 from 3, so that helped his case, right?
But see what you did, Skip? You said now the Boston went, what they go, 1 of 15?
1 of 14.
Okay, 1 of 14.
Yep.
Now the Lakers just shot 7 of 40, but you don't mention that. All you did is talk about how LeBron failed and how good Phoenix done. So what are we doing here?
Well, we're doing what's happening right here, right now to LeBron James. So far through 4 games in this series, he shot 32% from 3. That's not good enough.
Right.
So far, that's 9 of 28. So far in this series, he's 10 of 17 from the free throw line. That's not good enough on 2 fronts, because that's 59%. Yeah, that's kind of Ben Simmons territory. We're about to talk about him in a minute.
Right.
But moreover, he's only attempted 4 free throws a game. He averages for his playoff career 9 free throw attempts a game. Don't be afraid of the free throw line. Don't be afraid to drop that shoulder the way Kawhi and Paul George did at Dallas in games 3 and 4 and attack the basket. I still believe in year 18, LeBron James is the best driver of the basketball in the NBA, because he goes about 6'9", you say, let's go 265. He is still a moose. He can still attack. We've seen what he can do to Jay Crowder and Bridges and even Ayton when he decides to. Well, tonight, I would like to see at least 15 free throws, and I wouldn't mind seeing 20 free throws, because he is capable of generating that many trips to the free throw line.
At the end of the day, Skip, he can drive as many times as he wants, but if the refs are not blowing the whistle, then what?
Maybe not, but I say he will get a fair whistle tonight. I say that, obviously, not that there's any memo sent, but referees know he's very important to the ongoing playoffs. I don't think that the commissioner or any of the owners in this league want to lose LeBron James in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, if LeBron James' team doesn't play well, there's nothing a league or nothing officials can do.
Okay, well, if he doesn't play well, there's nothing they can do either, because let's look at his fourth quarters in the 4 games. So far in fourth quarters, all 4 games, he's 1 of 9 from 3. Not good enough. He is 6 of 12 from the free throw line. Obviously not good enough on either front. Too few made, too few attempted.
Correct.
He could be better than that. And again, I think this will be a down-to-the-wire game.
Yeah.
Listen, he has played almost 40 more playoff games than the combined roster of the Phoenix Suns, including Chris Paul. So do I respect Chris? Yes, I do. Did he look like he was getting toward 95% healthy on Sunday afternoon? Yes, he did. Will he be 100% tonight? He well might be. What has he done in his career to threaten LeBron James? Well, he's never even made it to a finals. 2018 with James Harden in Houston, as you remember, they were up 3-2. And what happened right on schedule? He pulls his hamstring again. And he's lost, as you know, for games 6 and 7, and they just stunk without him. Was that his fault? No, he just got hurt again.
Right.
Has he just been star-crossed where just fate, the basketball gods were not with him? Okay, is this a legacy night for him? Could he put away LeBron James in the first round of the playoffs? Would that help his legacy a little bit?
I don't think one game, because it's not a closeout game. Now, if he goes out and he's 30-12, and this was an opportunity for them to move on to the second round, okay, I would give you that. But I don't think it's that. It's not for them to stay alive. Maybe if it was a game for them to stay alive. But Skip, you said something earlier, very interesting. You told me that in your mind, there's nothing LeBron could do to supplant Jordan. But you're saying this could be a legacy game.
Okay, because I just explained to you, if he pulled this off, it would be year 18. Obviously, Jordan was not very good in those last 2 ceremonial years that he played in Washington. He let himself go physically and fitness-wise. I think there were too many cigars, a few too many drinks, and he played ceremonial basketball. He still averaged 20 and 6 rebounds, 20 points and 6 rebounds over those 2 years, but they were not a very good team. Right?
Let me ask you this.
I'm not finished answering your question.
Okay.
So the point is, I am dubious about what you achieved last year. And by the way, the guy who's going to be guarding LeBron a whole lot, he's very dubious too, because he liked a social media post ahead of Game 3, if you remember. I'm talking about Jay Crowder. He liked one that was questioning the authenticity of your bubble ring last year.
Of course, everything, with LeBron, everything get questioned.
Okay,
you know
well,
that.
I questioned it up front on time a year ago, or whenever those playoffs were, because I think most teams did not want to be in the bubble. And I think that you were very fortunate to draw the 5th seed, which got crazy hot. It was almost like March Madness hot in the bubble for the Miami Heat as the 5th seed to make it all the way to the finals. And right on schedule, they lost Goran Dragic, their leading playoff scorer, and they lost Bam in Game 1, and he was never the same. So they were not only a 5th seed, they were, on paper, they became like a 7th seed, and you were able to beat them in 6 games. And I thought it was a cakewalk. I thought it was a mismatch. And what did I call it? A cubic zirconia ring that you won in the bubble. And I stand by that, because a lot of people would stand by it because it got validated just now. What just happened to pretty much the same Miami team? What just happened?
Right.
They got swept. Okay, so now they're crumbling. Now they got to start over. Well, that was the team you beat in the finals last year.
So let me ask you a question. So you're going to say the same thing about the Nuggets if they were to lose to Portland? Are you going to say the same thing about them?
Well, why would I say?
Because they don't get past the first round.
Okay, well, they lost Jamal Murray, obviously.
Hey,
right?
But they had injuries in and out.
I don't care about the Nuggets.
But, Skip, but here's the thing, Skip. This is what I don't get with you.
Well, you ask, what could he do? Well, if they pulled this off, if he saved their season tonight with a triple-double, a monster LeBron memorial, like a Game 6 2012 type of a game, which I think he's still capable of pulling off. If he pulled that off tonight, then it might launch them. What if AD comes back for a game?
Skip, you've had poor growers. You know AD's not coming back anytime soon.
Okay, so you think he's gone for the playoffs for sure?
I would say at least a month.
Okay, they're still reporting he's day to day. Well, how bad a pull is it? I don't know. Is it just irritated or is it pulled?
Skip, you know what groins, they're different. There ain't no movement really going on. There's not a whole lot you can do when a groin is even aggravated. Forget pulling it. If it's aggravated, you're not the same player. You can barely move. You saw how AD left the court. Okay, maybe it's a little better today, but I believe at the bare minimum, you're talking about a month with that injury, Skip. You know that.
Okay, well, a month, well, that's pretty much done for the playoffs,
okay,
right?
Okay. Yeah,
right?
I said that.
Okay, so you don't think they can beat Phoenix without him?
I didn't say they couldn't beat Phoenix without him, Skip. You said title. You said this would change his legacy if it launches them to win the title. I do not believe they can win the title without Anthony Davis. Nobody believes they can win the title.
But you do think they could get by Phoenix?
I do believe
well, if they're going to get by Phoenix, he better rise and shine tonight at Phoenix,
but Skip,
right?
if he doesn't, it's not going to change. People are already made up their mind what they believe LeBron is.
But you just sound fearful, like you're trying to protect his legacy tonight because you're not confident he's going to play well.
How does it enhance his legacy by winning a game?
Winning a game?
This is a game.
Because it'll save the season. Because if AD can't play, I don't know when the next game is.
So the season's over. They lose tonight, the season's over.
Well, it'd be teetering on the
No, not teetering. Would it be over?
No,
okay,
obviously
then.
It won't be.
So
then what? So what about Thursday night? Would you love their chances Thursday night? I don't.
I would. But here's the thing, Skip. My thing is, if they lose tonight It changes his legacy. If he wins, does it rebuild his legacy? Does it enhance it if he wins?
It's a huge opportunity with no AD in a big national spotlight against a team that was the 2 seed, 51-21.
Skip.
It's a huge opportunity. You're afraid of the opportunity. I'm trying to be optimistic.
I'm not trying to be afraid of anything, Skip. It's not about being afraid or not afraid of this or that. All I'm trying to do is that what you're trying to do, you're trying to make it seem like if LeBron doesn't win this game, see, I told y'all guys all along he was terrible. And that's not the case.
No.
The man's resume is what it is.
Okay, what I'm seeing so far through 4 games is I'm seeing some age kicking in because he's not looking the same. He doesn't have the, what's his new drink called? Rise? He doesn't have Rise. He should maybe guzzle some of that Mountain Dew Rise before the game. I'm not seeing it. Is it the ankle or is it just age kicking in at age 36? 36 is not that old. I'm going to remind everybody, there's a quarterback in Tampa Bay right now who in 2 months is going to turn 44 years of age.
Stop it.
Wait. He's going to turn 44 years of age. I believe they're going to win another Super Bowl. They're favored to at least get back to what would be for him, his 11th Super Bowl. And he plays a different game and a different position than LeBron plays, obviously, but he's still playing at a supremely high level, so much so that your favorite website, Pro Football Focus, is now predicting that he will throw for the most yards in his career next year and lead the NFL in passing yards, a guy that you keep saying is washed up.
So in other words, you're saying what Tom Brady is doing is the equivalent of what LeBron is doing.
No, it's not, but it's 44 versus 36. 36 is not that old.
Yeah, it is very old for a basketball player that's been playing since he was 18 in the NBA.
Okay, but you tell me that he's Iron Man. He's invincible.
Skip,
he's the most durable superstar I've ever seen until lately, and now it doesn't seem that way.
It doesn't matter how.
Is Father Time starting to tap him on the shoulder?
I don't care. I would love to see Tom Brady be 43 and play both ways, play both offense and defense, and then we can get a game.
His game does not allow that.
So don't try to compare. What you try to do is compare.
I will say this. His position is much harder to play than LeBron's position.
Well, Skip, do you believe Tom Brady has as much on his plate as LeBron has on his?
Yes, absolutely I do, because it's so hard under fire at age 44 to be able to slide in the pocket and move away from much younger, from 22-year-old pass rushers who are trying to annihilate.
Does he not on some occasions have 5 to 6 guys trying to protect him?
Sure.
So how many screens does LeBron get? 4 guys setting screens for him?
Did Tom Brady take punishment last year? Do you remember what happened in Chicago on that Thursday night when you're doing?
I'm not saying that, but what you're trying to do, every chance I get, and everybody has tried to discredit. Now, it would have been very interesting had someone other than LeBron won the championship in the bubble. I guarantee you they wouldn't have said it's cubic zirconia. I guarantee you they wouldn't have said had less value. You've told everybody, and you've somewhat convinced the people that LeBron James is the weakest, mentally tough superstar they've ever been.
I have.
He went to the bubble for 100 straight days and did what others couldn't. But then now you discredit him by saying it's weak.
He smelled an opportunity where, as Jared Dudley said about my Clippers, those boys did not want to be in that bubble, and they didn't. And I think a bunch of players did not want to be in that bubble.
But if you're mentally weak, it doesn't matter if everybody else doesn't want to be there. You're weak also.
Off the court leadership. I'm talking about fourth quarter performance. He can be the mentally weakest superstar I've ever witnessed, and I can show you repeated instances of that.
And I can show you repeated instances where he's been great, and he's been mentally tough, more mentally tough than just about anybody. So just like you can show me stretches where he hasn't, I can show you stretches where he has.
You seem very threatened today. You seem insecure about his legacy. You seem like you fear that it's going to be the worst tonight.
Skip. The man has 35,000 points. He has all these MVPs and Finals MVP and all NBA. In one game, you tell me one.
He's 4 and 6 in the finals.
But Skip, it's the fact that he's gotten to 10. He's gotten to as many finals than anybody else other than the Celtics and the Lakers.
He cakewalked through that old Eastern Conference many times.
So now it's the Eastern Conference.
Wait, was KD and Harden and Kyrie, were they all in one spot in the East while LeBron? Nope.
See, but you see what you did?
I did it to you again.
Now all of a sudden it's the least. It was the Eastern Conference when LeBron was there. Now, so the Western Conference now is the Eastern Conference.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, well, why wouldn't you?
But I think the playing field has leveled, and you know it, and I know it. Are you not saying that the Nets just might be the best team in basketball right now?
Not Brooklyn. The Bucks look extremely good, but don't make it seem like Utah some trash. Don't make it look like they'll make it look like the Suns in Portland and Denver are trash.
Is Utah better than the Nets right now? No. Is Utah better than Milwaukee right now? I think you're a big no on that.
What about the Clippers?
What about
your team that you picked to win the title?
I did.
Okay, then. And who's in that conference? LeBron is in the West. Okay, then. So you can't give me the Western Conference.
I said it's pretty level playing field,
okay,
right?
Then. And guess who's in that?
You think the Clippers are trash. You've been telling me that Kawhi is trash. Well, you've been saying it until yesterday for months.
My guy won a title. So you see what you did? When he was in the Eastern Conference, it was those titles don't matter. He goes to the West, and now it's cubic zirconia. People will always try to find a way to discredit what LeBron has done. Because when he does it, you'll move the goalpost and say, well, somebody else would have done it. And somebody else did it. No, they didn't.
LeBron could shut me up tonight by going for, let's be conservative here. If he goes for 35, 15, and 12, that would be a game. That would be a monster triple-double.
Okay,
he led them to victory.
Well, okay.
Is he capable?
Yes. Let me ask you a question. If he goes 40-point triple-double and they lose, what you going to come out here and say tomorrow?
Well, what happens down the stretch?
You see?
Well, I need to know. Help me out.
Okay, what if he's spectacular down the stretch and they still losing a 40-point triple-double? You will still blame me.
Then you got me.
No.
Then I will come out here and I will stand up on this table and say, way to go, LeBron. You gave it every last ounce you had. You could not have played an inch better than you played.
Let me ask you a question. In 18 years that man has been in the league, you never said that. LeBron, you gave everything you possibly could. You'll go back and say, there was one stretch with 7 minutes go in the first quarter, and LeBron had a turnover, and you say that was the turning point of the ball game.
No.
That's what you would do.
Go back and see what I said on ESPN about games 1, 2, and 3 in the 2015 finals. No Kyrie, no Kevin Love. He played the greatest basketball I've ever seen over a stretch. It was spectacular.
But one man is not beating a team. Okay. I don't care how. Skip, as great as Jordan was, as great as Kobe is, as great as James Harden has been. James Harden averaged 36 for a season. Kobe averaged 35. Jordan 31. Okay. No one man is beating a team.
Okay, well, LeBron had them in his house in Game 4, up 2-1. You want to talk about a legacy game? And he went 7 of 22 that night, and he went 5 of 10 from the free throw line. It wasn't good enough. They lost by 21 points at home.
One man isn't beating a team. If that was the case, Jordan didn't need Pippen. He'd won titles before Pip got there.
Yeah.
But he won nothing. He couldn't get out the first round. Why couldn't he get out the first round if he's that guy?
Because he was a baby playing against some of the greatest teams in the history of this league in the Bad Boy Pistons and Larry Bird's Boston Celtics.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Where would you rank the 2017-2018 Golden State Warriors in the pantheon of great champion teams?
Lower.
Oh. What?
They didn't have Kevin Durant.
As a matter of fact, 538 or some ranking had him number 1. Number 1 all time.
Well, then I think of that ranking what you think of Pro Football Focus,
you see what you did?
Yeah.
I told you.
They were not. They were not yet the Warriors. You know it, and I know it. They were shaky.
No,
they had to
KD.
They had to insert. Oh, that team. I thought you meant the 20. I thought you were talking about the 2015.
17-18.
Oh, that team was spectacular.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And was that the one that you had down? Yes, you had them down in Game 1.
That was 2015 down.
Okay. No, I'm talking about Game 1 at Oracle, right?
That was 2018.
Okay. Same team, basically.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I know you guys have plenty more to say about all this. Don't worry. We'll get back to LeBron. We'll get back to the Lakers. I promise.
No mercy.
The Wizards got their first win in their series against the 76ers last night to force at least a Game 5. Down the stretch, Washington resorted to sending Ben Simmons to the free throw line, where he went 4 for 8 in the final 3 minutes. And after the game, Doc Rivers defended his decision to leave Simmons in the game. Take a listen.
You want me to take Ben Simmons off the floor?
No, I mean, I got to ask the question.
I will pass on that one. He's pretty good, so I'll pass on that suggestion.
He could have made more free throws. And
he could have, but he didn't. But he still does other things. He split them all. And again, analytic, I'll take that. Obviously, I want him to make more. Ben's not an 80% free throw shooter.
Okay.
For me right now. But, again, listen, you guys keep the Ben narrative going. We're just going to keep playing. I didn't think he was scared of the moment. He just didn't make them. So, again, with Ben, we're going to keep him on the floor. Unless you guys want us to bench him the whole game. If anybody wants us to do that, just let me know. And then I'll know you don't know basketball.
Woo, Doc, all right. Well, Shannon, should Doc have taken him out?
Skip, Doc might have to treat this like an offensive-defensive substitution, Skip, because it cost him the game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Ben hasn't gotten better at shooting the basketball. He's unwilling to shoot the ball outside of the paint. He hasn't gotten better at shooting free throws. He refused to shoot three-pointers. So, Skip, I don't know. He's not like Shaq. You had to keep Shaq because Shaq was so dominant. Ben is not so dominant, Skip, that he's above reproach that you can't take him out. Skip, he's 5 of 20 from the free throw line in the series. That's worse than Luka. And we think Luka is I don't know what his percentage is. What is this, 20%, 25%? Skip, what?
Remember, he went into last night's game 0 for 9.
Yes!
Okay. All right.
So, and they like, you know what? We can't stop them. Every time we let them go down there and run a set, they get buckets. So Scotty Brooks said, well, the hell with this. Let's just foul Ben Simmons. Skip, Doc, you owe it to your guys to put the guys on the floor. And if Ben can't make free throws, Skip, I don't understand it. And I get it, Doc. It's not, because Ben is one of your cornerstone players. And you obviously you worry about what that's going to do. But Joel Embiid, and again, Skip, you hope it's not serious, but what happens every series, every 4 or 5 games with Joel Embiid?
I agree. At least he stayed in the game for a while, right, which would indicate maybe it's not quite as bad. I'm going to knock on wood over here.
I hope so, Skip.
Yeah.
But that's a big man to hit the floor as hard as he did.
Big man, and it looked like a little hyperextension.
Exactly. Skip, from his rookie year, you would have thought, okay, you're like, he's going to improve. But Skip, what is he improved? Is he an elite defender? Yes.
Yep.
But I don't know if his defensive skills matches his offensive deficiencies.
Okay.
And that's the issue. Because this is what you're going to see, Skip. This is going to cost him some more games. Because guess what other teams are going to do that they play? Foul the heck out of Ben Simmons. And they're going to make him go to the free throw line. I would make him shoot. He ain't get no layups. He ain't get no dunks. If he shoots 30 free throws a game, okay. Given that his resume, what it says right now, that means if he shoots 30 free throws a game, he'll make about 10. I take that. But I know he's going to make a dunk. I know he's going to lay the ball up. But I'm not giving him that, Skip. I'm not so sure, Doc, you probably should have took him out for that 58 seconds and rolled the dice with it like that. Because those misses hurt.
So, I hear everything you just said. But I also heard what Doc said. And I tweeted in the heat of that moment last night, you cannot pull him, Doc, because if you pull him, you might lose him in the big picture because you're going to shame him publicly if you pull him. And he's a very good player.
Yes.
On offense, he's very valuable. He is their point guard. He is their orchestrator. I know plays forward, plays center, he plays everything, but he has the ball in his hands a lot.
But I can foul him and neutralize
him. Okay, you can, in part because he does have the ball in his hands.
Exactly.
Right? But he is, I'm not going to go great passer, but he's a very good passer. So he has that strength on offense. And as you just pointed out, he is a high-level defender.
Yeah.
And he can guard point guards or he can guard centers.
Right.
He is extremely valuable to what has become a very good defensive basketball team. Obviously, they need Joel to rim protect.
Right.
But the point is, I'm with you on hasn't improved. He's now a career 59.7% free throw shooter. This year, he was 61.3. A year ago, he was 62.1. So he regressed slightly this year. And as you point out, he's now 5 of 20, but he was 0 for 9 entering the game.
Right.
Okay. Here's the biggest picture of this. I'm going to remind everybody, that same coach, Scotty Brooks, back on November 24th of 2017. I don't know if you remember this game. It was Ben's 19th pro game. He fouled him and sent him to the free throw line in the fourth quarter of that game 24 times. Ben Simmons shot 24 free throws in an early regular season game in which the Sixers lived to tell about it. They actually won that game. He went 12 of 24, predictably. He's going to make about 50%. Half of them, okay? And if you look at his top 6 free throw attempts in the fourth quarter in his career, they've won every one of those games until last night.
Right.
It didn't work. Was that a huge game? Well, obviously, it was a sweep game. It was a closeout 4-0 game.
And and Skip, you win that game, you get Joel Embiid some rest. You don't have to worry about a game 5.
I got it. So was I grimacing watching him? Yes. And if we can see it again, is he shooting? Doc says he's shooting it with confidence, that he's not afraid of the free throw line. But if we could see the sort of the parade of these free throws, he's got the flying left elbow, which I do not love. Does he need a shot doctor to help with that a little bit? If he could tuck it a little bit, you can be a little more consistent with it. And yet, some of them look pretty good. So that looked pretty good, right? That looked like a pretty sweet, motion. And yet, does he have demons in the fourth? Yes, he does. Does he need a psychological coach? Does he need some therapy just dealing with this free throw issue? Maybe. He seems like a proud young man, right? So to me, you got to ride with it and hope that it doesn't come completely back to bite you. Obviously, if you win the game going away, it won't be a factor.
Skip,
right?
You had a chance to win the game in which Bill and Russ shot 12 of 42. Russ was 3 of 19.
3 of 19? Lord have mercy. I've never seen anything like that. I agree. I looked this up. That's 15.8% that Russ shot. 3 of 19, and Beal wasn't much better. He shot 39%.
Yes.
9 of 23.
The game was there for the taking.
It was screaming to be won by
Philly.
Yes. It was. So the point is, if I'm Doc, he's such a good player, I have to ride with him through these playoffs. I have to try to figure out that he can figure it out. Because and I know, you can't do that to a player of this caliber.
It's the thing with Shaq, Skip. Coach Popovich started it with Shaq, the Hacker Shaq. But Shaq, I don't know, for whatever reason, Shaq would make, if you foul him 7 times, Shaq would make 5 of them and make you pay. So he's like, okay, I'm not a good free throw shooter, but I'll make them when I have to. Well, Ben Simmons is going to have to adopt that. He might miss all of them up until they start hacking him. And then you're going to have to make them pay. Because if you don't, guess what's going to happen, Skip? It's kind of like a bully. Until you stand up to the bully, Skip, they're going to keep bullying you. Until you start making those free throws, they're going to keep hacking you. Because the bully in this case is the demon in your head. Exactly. You got to look it right in the eye and say no more. Because guess what, Skip? You stop the clock. So I stop the clock, and so I get an opportunity you miss, because I know if Joel Embiid is in there, Skip, there's a chance for an and one. No. So if you look hard at the close of this game, it's 108-108. Right. With 2:47 left, they went to hack a Ben. Right. And he made 1 of 2. And then at 2:28, he made 1 of 2. And then 2:07, he made 1 of 2. Then Russ just tackled him on what could have been a dunk, and he had to go to the free throw line again at 108, and he went 1 of 2. So he went 4 of 8 in the last 2:47 of the game. In other words, Skip, what they're doing it like a 3. A 3 is worth more than 2. Well, 2 is worth more than 1. That's right. Because making 1 of 2 isn't horrible, but it's not good enough to get you home when that team is playing inspired, crazed, we will not be swept kind of basketball. Right. You go down there and get 1. Now they go down there and get a layup, they get 2. Yeah. You go down and get 1, they go down and get 2. Then Hashimura goes down there from the corner and just ices you with a big 3, and you can't compete mathematically if you keep making 1 of 2. Correct. Which leads me to the Clippers-Dallas series, which leads me back to Luka, who's been even worse than Ben to me. He looks worse. Like Luka's free throws in the 4 games have clanked worse than Ben's. Right. Even his makes have been shaky, where he'll front iron, back iron, and then it'll sort of fall in. So Luka's now 13 of 32. And I told you the other night, Ernestine, who's really starting to really get basketball, she's looking at me. She only knows Hacka Jordan because she knows Hacka DeAndre Jordan. That's where she entered the basketball realm. So she said,
is it time for Hack of Jordan? And I was like, wow, I hadn't thought of that. And she meant, is it time for Hack of Luka?
Right.
Well, if this is a close game at Staples tomorrow night, should they think about it?
Yeah, absolutely, Skip.
He's 13 of 32. That's 40.6%.
And you consider, Skip, considering that how Luka can shoot the ball from the outside. And remember in Game 3, Skip, he was 7 of 13 from the 3, but he was also 7 of 13 from the free throw line.
I've never seen a line
I've never seen that neither. So Ben Simmons, we know Ben is unwilling for whatever reason, Skip. And I get it. But you are not going to expand your game if you can't shoot the ball outside of the paint.
Okay, well, I'm going to go on record right now about Luka. I would be fearful of fouling him intentionally because he's too good a shooter from distance. And I'm not saying he's a great shooter because he's a 33% career. He's streaky from distance.
Right.
Right now, he's been on a hot streak. It started to cool off a little bit in Game 4. But my point is, if you make him mad enough in the fourth quarter, if you try to shame him enough, to me, he would step up and say, okay, watch this.
And he'll mess around and have one of those games, Skip, where, we've seen him go 6 of 8 from the 3. He'll mess around and go 14 or 17 from the foul line.
Yeah.
And it backfires on you because you're trying to put him there because you're like, okay, we can get a 2 for 1. No.
I have seen Ben Simmons play mad. Do you remember when Jared Dudley called him out that time when it was back in the old days of the Nets?
Mm-hmm.
And remember, he went in there like on a Friday night.
Without Embiid.
And just destroyed them and did it offensively because he played angry the whole night. Sometimes it's good mad.
Yeah, we just watched him this year. He dropped 42 on Rudy Gobert with no Joel Embiid.
42. He is capable. That's what Doc is clean to.
Right. So Doc, I know it's in there. I just need him to bring it out a little bit more than what he's shown us.
Yep, I agree.
Well, that wasn't the only incident that we saw last night in the game. There was another fan incident, and we got to talk about it. During the third quarter of the Wizards 76ers game, a fan ran onto the court and even jumped up to touch the backboard before being tackled by security. The Wizards already said the fan will be banned from the stadium, while Scott Brooks shared his opinion on the latest fan behavior across the league. Check it out.
It's unfortunate that one fan here and there, they ruin it for everyone. There's great fans in Boston, in New York, in Philly, in D.C., in Utah. But there's some that need to just know, you know what? Stay home. Your thinking is barbaric. Stay home. We don't need you. We don't need your dollars. Just stay home. Get away from us.
Those strong words. So, Shannon, after another NBA fan incident last night, just explain what is going on here in your opinion.
Skip, I think this was more of a copycat. This was somebody that was just wanting attention. I mean, run on the court and try to touch the backboard. That's what this was. I think this incident was different than those, although it was the same, a fan thinking this was about him and not about the players actually on the court. But this is what you get. So I'm not surprised that, fans, a lot of times, everywhere you go, Skip, no matter what sport, we got the best fans.
Yeah.
Cowboys say we got the best fans. Steelers say, no, we got the best fans. Packers say we got the best fans.
Right.
Well, Boston say we got the best fans. OKC say we got the best. So everybody believes. And so the fans like, okay, well, if you got the best, what makes y'all so good? I mean, we can get rowdy.
Yeah.
The Knicks, because for the longest, it's been so long since the Knicks have had a playoff game.
Yep.
So the way they reward having a playoff game, they exhibit this kind of behavior. And the Celtics have been going to the playoffs, but they were in the bubble last year. Mm-hmm. And then, so I look, this incident for me, although it's still shameful, I believe this was a copycat. This was a guy trying to get some attention. And I would have preferred they not even show, we don't even see who this is. Now, Skip, when you start throwing things, we need to get the cameras in because we got camera angles because we need to make sure you get the right person. In the spitting incident, make sure we get the right person.
Yeah.
So show their faces. Let them be a disgrace. But, Skip, people have been squeaking and then running on the court. I think Morgana, she started this back in the 70s, Skip, when she was running on the field.
The kissing bandit.
When she was running on the field, kissing, dodging pitchers and players and things like that. So she might have been the first one to start this. Yeah. And then it's gone from there. But I think this situation is different than the other three because I don't know if this had anything to do with hatred or dislike or anything like that. This was a guy that was just seeking attention, running on the court. And so I judge this as different, but the behavior is still abhorrent because you don't need to be on the court. You didn't pay to get on the court. You don't pay to get on the field. Yep. You pay to watch the game and be entertained and hopefully your team win. But if they don't, you're like, okay, go home and don't be a jackleg and run on the court or throw things.
Yep. Is it possible this fan was inspired by all the media attention?
Yes.
Focused on each of the other three incidents?
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
At least this wasn't malicious intent.
Right.
This wasn't threatening to players, I don't think.
Right.
He got a running start, ran all the way down through the box seat area, and leaped and hit. I think he just
tried to touch the backboard.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't have no ups. He couldn't get it.
No, and then he got tackled
Right.
by security, and that was the end of that. Well, to keep this in context of your sport, how many times since the 70s have we seen streakers in your games?
Yeah.
Like somebody's going to run out with no clothes on and just try to streak and outrun
It happened in the
security.
Super Bowl, remember?
It's happened many, many times.
Mike Curtis tackled one with the old Baltimore Colts.
He did. So that's not new.
Right.
And I'm trying to think of, you know, the one good thing about the NBA, we haven't seen a lot of fans onto the court.
No.
Do you remember back in, what was the date? It was March of 2013. LeBron was back in Cleveland with the Heat. And a kid, just a crazed LeBron fanatic, came out on the court with a LeBron T-shirt on that said, "We miss you, come back in 2014.
LeBron gave him a hug.
Well, he wanted to, but he wanted to
him.
tell him face-to-face, please come back.
Right.
And before he could even talk to LeBron, obviously, he got
grabbed him up,
Okay? So, but there was no malicious intent.
And Bron said he didn't feel threatened
He did not.
by the kid.
And LeBron actually seemed disappointed he didn't get to say a quick word to the kid like thank you or whatever because it was over fast.
Right.
Okay? Well, that's the only other one I know where somebody went out onto the court.
Especially, Skip, during the game. Now, we see games in which the game is over and the championship is won and you know, they flood the court. We see the Celtics and Larry Bird is pushing his way through the crowd. You see the Lakers. That's a different situation. But during the course of the game, late in the ball game, to actually see someone come on the court, you're right. We haven't seen I don't recall a whole lot of incidents where things of that nature have happened.
So my deeper psychological take on this, it feels like we've all been quarantined for so long that there's this outpouring of freedom and joy of being able to go to a live event that has somehow deeply inspired everybody to do crazy things.
But the same rules are in place.
They are.
You couldn't run on the court before the pandemic. What makes you think you can run on the court after the pandemic? If you remember, it basically ruined Monica Seles' career. That guy jumped on the court, stabbed in the back, and she was never the same. So you don't know.
I'm glad you brought that up. I thought about it, and then I was saying I can't bring that up, but since you broached, that was 1993. She was top-ranked in the world. She was in Hamburg playing Steffi Graf, and a psycho-crazed Steffi fan decided he needs to eliminate her.
Right.
And the changeover benches were right up against the first row, which is that they've changed that since.
Right.
But this is good context for the NBA because we haven't had anything remotely like this.
Yes.
But he went after with a knife with both hands.
Right.
Okay.
And so
fortunately, it didn't badly hurt her, but it damaged her psychologically. She was gone for 2 years.
Yeah, she was really never the same.
Never the same.
Because prior to that, they couldn't see her. Nobody could touch her. And Steffi Graf, with at that time, Skip, she was dominant. Obviously, Martina was still around, but they couldn't. Gabby Sabatino, none of them. They couldn't see this girl. She was going to be it. And he's like, nah, we're not ready for Steffi to go. And he did that. So, Skip,
the context is we haven't had that.
Haven't had that.
Okay, so we had a popcorn pouring incident, which we despise.
Right.
And then we really despise the spitting incident because it's the ultimate sign of display of disrespect. And then it got dangerous with attempted assault on the thrown water bottle. Some people say it was empty. It looked like it had water in it.
Yeah, it looked like, for you to throw it, Skip, I don't know if how high, he was way up there.
And he's charged.
Right.
And I hope he's prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Well, they say that they're going to say the bottle was a deadly weapon.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, I buy that.
Right.
Okay.
But Skip, when someone runs out there or someone, is right there, you don't know what their intent are. Now, we can say, Skip, it doesn't look like he just wanted to touch the backboard. He just wanted attention.
Well, you wouldn't have known that while he was sprinting down through the box seats.
Exactly. Dwight seemed unfazed by it. Dwight's like really close, like looking at him like, you a big fool. And so, you like you said, Skip, at the time when you're going through an event, you don't know what's on a person's mind.
Yep.
If someone's, yelling and screaming right there, you don't know what a person's going to do.
Would I like the security to be so good that he wouldn't have ever gotten to the basket?
Because I don't know, Skip. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if the security guard, because normally, Skip, they're facing out. So they're looking at the crowd to make sure. So I don't know what he was thinking that he let him run past him. So he might, hopefully he don't lose his job because he was sleeping at the wheel.
Little asleep at the wheel. I mean, he got him before he actually got out on the floor.
Right.
But to your point, I think he was just showing off.
Right.
And hoping he could show out in the wake of all these incidents where the spotlight is on the crazed fan.
For a second, Skip, I thought, was he going to run the half court? Because he looked like he was going to run the half court.
Yeah,
and he thought about it, and then he said, well, let me try to touch the backboard.
Okay.
Like, but this is a copycat, Skip. He saw all the attention that the other guys got. He's like, man, I want me a little bit of that, too.
Okay.
Let me get me a little
I'm going to say this one last time. The NBA is the greatest viewing experience in sports to me because it's so intimate and you can get so close. You can hear the trash talk. You can just about smell the sweat if you've got one of the court sides. And I hope that doesn't change because it is great. And I hope these are just rotten apples, just one a night. Right. And I hope it calms down and goes away at least for a while.
So do I.
That's a really good point, Skip, because it is a privilege to have that access and to sit up so close and be a part of it. I liked what Scott Brooks said. We don't need you. So stay home, those kind of fans. No mercy. While Tim Tebow battles for a roster spot in Jacksonville, according to the latest report, there is one common complaint from Tebow's former coaches. It's that Tebow doesn't do anything to actively calm down the Tebow mania hype that always surrounds him wherever he goes. Well, we are not doing anything there to help calm it down either. Shannon, is this a valid criticism?
Skip, I don't really know. This is what I do know from talking to a lot of people when Tim was there.
At Denver.
In Denver. What rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, it wasn't that he was charitable. It had nothing to do with his foundation. They wanted Tim to do all that stuff on his day off, which was Tuesday. And Tim didn't want to do it on his day off. He did some, but not nearly enough. He wanted to do it in pregame when all the cameras were around. And they wanted Tim to focus on football. And that rubbed him a wrong way. And nobody broached that. They talked to him about it, but they weren't as aggressive as they wanted to be because of the very reason that you said he was discriminated, getting kicked out of the league because of his religion.
So you're saying pregame, taking pictures with
all
kids?
Yes, and all that. It rubbed his teammates and a lot of people in the higher-ups the wrong way because it's like, are you focused? Because I see a lot of other guys, and that's not what they're doing, foundation work. On company's time. Now, if you want to do that on Tuesday, which is the player's day off, or if you want to do some of that on Friday after a short day, or Saturday, they would prefer you not do it on Saturday because, you know, this is right before the game, Skip. And obviously you can't do it if you're traveling. But they want your mind to start focusing on the task on Sundays. And Tim was unconcerned with that. And so that rubbed a lot of people in that building the wrong way. People keep saying, Tim, look, Reggie White wore his religion on his sleeve equally as devout as Tim Tebow. But Reggie's play, we talk more about Tim Tebow's religion than his play. And this notion, Skip, we got to stop this notion. I want to know the time, because I can give you a point in time when every other group has been discriminated against. I want someone to tell me the time in the year that a straight, white, Christian, or evangelical male has been discriminated against in America. Now, I can give you when blacks were discriminated against. I can give you when the Jewish community was discriminated against. Asian American and Island Pacific. I can give you the gay and lesbian and LGBT community, the trans community. But I need somebody to give me the time in the year in which straight, white, Christian, evangelical males were discriminated against. So this notion that people are discriminated against Tim Tebow is not based in fact. Tim Tebow is a marginal player that's been given opportunity after opportunity. And I don't begrudge that. I don't begrudge that because I know a lot of guys that's been given opportunities, but it's opportunity in their field. Okay, I'm a coach, and I want to bring some player in. I'm going to bring him in, not after 6 years. Not after 6 years that you switch positions. But if you play DB, if you need to play safety, you're slowing down, okay, I'll bring you in as a safety. I'm not going to totally switch your position. So I think this is what the blowback was. I can't speak for what it was in Skip, the Jets or New England or Philly or any other place that he went. I can just speak to Denver and what I was told that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It was this, that Tim sought the media. He sought the cameras. He sought the attention. He loved the attention. And that's what rubbed them a lot the wrong way.
Okay. All right, my turn. The year of 2011 was a wild ride when I was on ESPN, and I was a fan of Tebow's because I first guessed it ahead of the draft. I said, hey, all I know is that's a force of competitive nature. Not going to be a great player, not going to win make a Pro Bowl, but he can win football games if you let him run the Urban Meyer offense in pro football. I said I would take him bottom of the first round, and I would give him a chance to win games because he will. He'll do it unconventionally, and you're going to have to be an outside-the-box thinker. But Josh McDaniels, highly respected offensive mind, said, yep, I'm going to do that. And he took him with the 25th overall pick. And if Josh McDaniels had stayed afloat in your Denver with your Broncos, we might be having a very, very different story because Tim Tebow might have gone on and started for 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 years for your Denver Broncos because in his very first year starting, all he did was turn them around from 1-4 into the division champs, the #1 rushing attack in pro football, and he beat Pittsburgh in a home playoff game. That was an extraordinary start for a first-year starter because you know and I know how hard it is to just get thrown into a fire with a bad football team and turn it around as a first-year NFL starting quarterback. Okay. Hard. So here's what I learned in 2011. Because I had driven the Tebow bandwagon, well, obviously, we had hoped that maybe we could get him on the show at some point. We could not get him on the show because he did not do interviews. Late in that football season, we finally got him on for like 6 or 8 minutes via satellite from Denver. And it was on his off day, I believe, on a Tuesday. And we got him, and he is, I'll be upfront with you about this, he's not a very good interview because he's not very
He said nothing.
I mean, he says nothing. He deals in cliches, and he sidesteps.
Very guarded.
Very guarded, but obviously if you ask him about his religion, he will tell you about his religion. Right. Because I don't want to get too deep into religion, but obviously he was born to missionary parents in the Philippines, and his mission in life taught to him by his parents and by the Bible is that you try to become a witness. You proselytize. You give your testimony to any and everybody who will listen to it because that's what the whole New Testament is about. Jesus is telling his disciples, they're all fishermen, I need you to be fishers of men. That's what you do. Right. I don't like the label evangelical Christian. It's like, well, every Christian's supposed to be evangelical, right? I mean, that's your mission from the Bible. Right. Okay. So again, don't want to get too deep into this, but if you ask him, just like Reggie or every time I hear Bradley Beal interviewed after the games, he said, "I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ." Says it every night. You just get it, and it's pretty widespread. Right. It's fairly common that you hear that, and Tebow would do that. So he's wearing his religion on his sleeve. But to your point about Reggie, yep. Maybe Reggie would preach more than Tim would. Absolutely. Okay? So we could not get Tim to do an interview, and then after the season ended and he had lost the playoff game up in New England, I was at the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, and he did agree to sit with me for, I don't know, we did an extended interview, maybe 20 minutes, and that was the only thing that he did at that Super Bowl. So my point is, it wasn't like he was promoting himself outside the confines of the Broncos because he really wasn't. His media availability was basically one day after practice and then after the game on Sunday. So I get what you're saying. I'd not heard that before, but I could see where some players would say, well, are you getting ready for the game or are you getting ready to promote your charities? And I don't even know what the charities were, if they had won the right to come see him or if they were.
I think it was like his foundation. I forget I don't know what his foundation was.
Were they handicapped kids or were they kids who had diseases or what? I don't know. But again, all I know is how he performed that year. And in the last 5 minutes of those games, he had the #1 QBR in all of pro football. And to me, I've got a 16-game body of work. And he went 9-7 in those games. And again, the team was 1-4 when he took it over. But the point was that to me, that body of work indicates he's one of the great clutch players in the history of the league. In a pretty big body of work. I got a pretty large sample size. I can show you game after game after game in which he came up very clutch at the end of the game. Well, that's his talent, is he would just will himself into some crazed state like we saw at halftime of the national championship game against my Oklahoma Sooners, where he goes somewhere else and he can compete at a high level playing above his ability under pressure when he gets into that crazed state of his.
Well, what about the games in which he throws for 40 yards? What about the games in which he throws for 100 yards?
Well, one game at Kansas City, he did that, and then he hit Eric Decker with the touchdown pass that won the game in the last couple of minutes.
And think about that. He throws one touchdown to win the game, and he gets credit. Do you know how good your defense has to be to hold a team in the NFL in today's rule to where a touchdown wins the game?
Kansas City
you don't mention that.
Didn't exactly have Patrick Mahomes at that point.
But they still were very good, and it came down to them and the Broncos for winning the division. Skip. But you said he wasn't a great player, but he was getting privileges that's only reserved for great players. You don't let average and mediocre players be able to go and do all that stuff, have a foundation thing right before the game. You don't let average players do that. That's reserved for the Bradys, the Manning, the Drew Breeses. He was getting those privileges because they were so afraid of what you and what others like you were going to say. It's because of his religion. So they handled him with kid gloves.
Did he perform when it was time to perform? Yes, he did. Again and again. Did they win the AFC West? So clearly his charitable time commitments before games didn't stop them from winning the AFC West and winning a home playoff game.
But where is somewhere in the Bible that says when you do good deeds, do not announce it with trumpets?
It's like alms before men. Which, one of your favorite players should take that into account.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So in other words, you keep doing all this stuff in front of cameras, and so some of that stuff needs to be behind, because what are you doing at? Because at the end of the day, Skip, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for them, or are you doing it for the attention?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do you know?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, attention for what? I don't know what. Like, did he invite them to games and he'd give them their tickets?
Do you not know the camera's going to be at an NFL football game?
Sure.
So where are cameras more apt to be? At the pregame of an NFL game or on a Tuesday?
Okay, I don't know. I mean, you could be right or you could be wrong. Maybe he was doing it for the kids' sake, right? So to get them some attention?
The kids will be Tuesday. The kids will be able to make it available on Tuesday, make it Saturday.
I'm going to guess he did it on Tuesday also, if I know Tim Tebow, right? Do you think he worked any less? He worked any less hard than anybody else on the Broncos?
Well, like less hard?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he worked any less hard. I don't think he worked any more hard either.
Okay. Well,
I don't think he worked harder.
Okay. I think he works pretty hard at it. Not harder than anybody else, but whatever work he can do, I believe he had done.
But Skip, at some point in time, there comes a point in time that no matter how hard you work, you're just not talented enough to be able to compete at the level that a team needs you to compete at. And that's nothing wrong. That's not a slight, because you're able to do something that very few men have ever been able to do, which is hold a job as a player in the National Football League. That's not a knock. That's not to say because Tim Tebow, the mere fact that he stayed 3 years, and maybe that's all it, I mean, everybody's not going to have a Tom Brady or Adam Vinatieri type career, Skip.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Okay. So I believe that the media's focus on his religion, because remember, he Tebowed after touchdowns. He would just kneel and thank God after touchdowns. That was something Reggie White didn't do, something Bradley Beal. Although I do see Steph and others, they thank God after they make a three, right? Maybe Bradley. I'm not sure about that. But the point is that because of the focus on Tim's religion, he did become a circus of a media distraction for other teams. So other teams would try, like the Jets would try him, and they didn't like the media attention he got. Did he do more interviews than anybody? No, he did very few interviews. Then it went on to Philadelphia, then it went on to New England. Did he ever get one opportunity to start a game as a quarterback for any of those three teams? No, he did not, which is the most outrageous lack of opportunity for a player who had proven that he could be so clutch in big moments and take a team to a division championship and a playoff win, and he never, ever got a single opportunity to start another game as a quarterback. Not a single one. and he thought he was going to get a fair shot to start games for the Jets. And I first guessed this. I said on ESPN ahead of his first year as a rookie, not a practice player, never was any good. You ask Urban Meyer, he wasn't a great practice player at Florida. It's he goes into this psycho state during games where you better look out.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. You know what? Who knew what it's like to not get a fair chance in America? Wow.
Yeah. Well, he didn't get a chance. And I do believe it was because in the big picture, the media's focus on his religion.
I know probably about 50 other million people that didn't get a fair chance.
Okay, well, that's a whole nother issue. But it also affected Tim Tebow. Did he ever start another game at quarterback after winning a division championship? Nobody can explain that to me. It's outrageously wrong. You know it, and I know it.
So you believe he should have been a starter?
Yeah. I mean, he would have won games. He'd be better than Mark Sanchez for the Jets. He thought he was going to get a shot. That's why he chose the Jets. Rex called him and promised him, I will give you a shot, and he never...
I think he and Rex had the same agent. Ain't Jimmy Sexton both of their agents?
I don't know about that. Not sure at that time what was going on. But he never got a chance. Did he ever start a game for the Jets? No, he barely played. Barely played.
Skip, you got to update your resume, bro.
Okay. Well, what do you mean update it?
He got updated.
Well, you can if nobody will start you.
You got to earn it. Skip,
he earned it in Denver.
No. He earned it in Denver. Okay, once you leave Denver, you don't get to say, well, I did this in Denver. Well, you got to go somewhere else and prove it all over again.
In 2012, he started 0 games.
Okay.
Wow.
Did he prove it? You got to, Skip, you got to prove it to the Jets. What did Tom say? Tom said, what I did in New England does not matter. I got to prove it here in Tampa. Okay. So Tom Brady has to prove himself, but Tim Tebow should be given a job in New York.
Tom Brady had already won 6 Super Bowls.
And he still said, I got to prove myself.
Okay. Well, obviously, I never said Tim Tebow was Tom Brady, but he won a bunch of games.
But you said he shouldn't been given a chance to start.
Yeah, definitely.
Earn it. Earn it on the practice field.
Well, you have to see it and feel it, and a coach has to say, I'm going to give him a chance because when it's game time and the lights are brightest and it's fourth quarter and it's a tight game, he will win the game for me.
Skip, if I'm on a normal 9-to-5 job and I keep messing up and I don't perform, the boss is not going to promote me. Says, I know he'll just do the job once he gets in the job. No, I got to show him that I can do it.
Well, he already showed you.
No, he showed Denver.
It's called tape.
He showed Denver.
Okay, well.
That's New York.
Okay, well, he just showed Denver. New York's got to give him the opportunity.
No, you got to earn it. You got to earn it. You got to earn it.
Well, the reality is Urban is giving him a shot right now
and
to see if he can earn a spot, and he is going to give him this opportunity. And really, that
he ain't earned no spot, Jenny.
Fully up to Tebow right now to deliver at this point.
No mercy.
LeBron and the Lakers find themselves tied with the Suns at 2 games apiece heading into Game 5 tonight. Anthony Davis is unlikely to play in the game, according to reports, after suffering a groin strain. Fox Bet Sportsbook has the Suns as 5-point favorites for this one. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us now. Chris, what do you expect from LeBron tonight?
Jen, I expect a very strong performance from LeBron. Not a spectacular, historic performance, but I do expect a strong game from him in a loss. I expect him to be the primary ball handler, to get, Andre Drummond easy looks and opportunities at the basket, to get his teammates open 3-point looks and shots. And I expect LeBron himself to score more than he has in the rest of this series. He's only averaging, believe it or not, less than 22 points a game in this series. I expect him to go above 30 tonight, but I don't expect Detroit 2007 when he went for 48 against the Pistons, or Boston 2012 when he went for 45 and 15, or Golden State 2018 when he went for 51, 8 and 8 in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I expect LeBron to go for 36 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds. But I expect the Lakers to lose because I don't think his teammates will catch fire from 3. They may hit some, but I don't think they'll catch fire as they need to beat this Phoenix team. They're shooting 29% from 3-point range in this series. They were 35% in the regular season. So I think he's going to need Ben McLemore, Wes Matthews, Alex Caruso, all these other guys to catch fire from 3, capitalize on the open looks he gets them, and that's how they could win. But I don't think that'll happen. So I expect the Lakers to lose tonight and LeBron to play very well, but not dominant. I don't expect him to dominate this game and just have a tour de force like some of the games he's had in the past.
Well, we got very similar stat line. I got LeBron going for 33 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. And I got them losing tonight, too. I got them losing 100-96 because I agree with what you said. They're not a great three-point shooting team, and they were not a great three-point shooting team in the regular season, and they've regressed from that. And they had a very small margin of error to regress from that if you look at it, Chris. So for me, I agree with you. I don't know if they have the guy, and I said this yesterday, that I believe Ben McLemore should get, because he's the streaky guy that can get hot. He's the guy that can go on a spurt and hit 5, 6, 7 threes in a very short period of time. And LeBron has confidence in him. LeBron will try to find a way to get him the ball. But the Suns know. They guard him very closely. They face guard him, Skip, because they know he's trying to run up screens. They know they're trying to get him three-point shots. But I agree with you. The reason why I don't believe the Lakers will win tonight, but I do believe the series is going 7 games, Skip, is that I don't believe that there's a 20-point guy that, who can I say, you know what? LeBron's going to give me what he's going to give me. Sure, they're going to give me 24. Or Kuz's going to give me 22. I don't see that. They might, but I wouldn't put any amount of money on it. The only thing I'll put money on, I believe LeBron will have 30-plus points, more than double-digit rebounds, and 8, 9 assists. That's what I'll put my money on.
I thought you loved Drum Dog Millionaire. What's he going to give you?
No. Oh,
like
Drum
a million points?
No. Drum Dog will give me a double-double. But the question is, but he's giving me a double-double. He's only playing like 18, 19 minutes. He's been what I thought he would be.
Well, without AD, why wouldn't he play 35 minutes?
That's because Bogue doesn't play him like that.
Why not? Is that wrong?
Yeah.
Because you love him.
I love Drum.
Okay.
Play Drum 35 minutes, I might change my vote.
I think the Big Penguin's on ice tonight because I think it's a Gasol night. Now back to my friend Chris Broussard. So, Chris, you say LeBron will go 36, 8, and 10 tonight in a loss. And I'm saying, wait a second, those numbers are big enough to win this game against that team, even in its building when they are a 5-point favorite. Are you suggesting LeBron's going to show some age tonight?
I don't know. Look, the age is there. That's a fact. I mean, there's no getting away from it. But I think he'll look good. I don't think we'll look at LeBron and say, oh, wow, he didn't deliver tonight. He didn't play well. I expect, as I use the term tour de force, I expect that performance in Game 6 from him. That's when I expect him to go maybe for 40-plus if AD isn't there. Tonight, and not because he's not choosing to, I just don't think he's going to have that type of game. I don't think he's going to put up an inordinate amount of shots. I think he'll put up, 20-something, but I don't think he's going to go 30-something shots where he's just really trying to get 49, 50 points. I think he'll try to get other guys to contribute and help him, and they will to a degree, but not strong enough to beat Phoenix.
Okay, so I told Shannon earlier in this show, I see LeBron going 35, 15, and 10. And I would like to see him get to the free throw line 20 times. I'll go 17 times because he's averaging 4 free throw attempts a game through the first 4. That is shockingly wrong to me because he averages 9 free throw attempts for his playoff career. So it's time for LeBron tonight to do what Paul George and Kawhi Leonard did in games 3 and 4 at Dallas. I think Ty Lue just finally beat it into their heads. They got to put their heads down and drive the basketball. Isn't that how that changed the flow of that series? They just said, duck your shoulder, duck your head, and drive it. And get to the free throw line or get to the rim and dunk it. And they did that a bunch.
But you do know what you call them. There's a big difference between DeAndre Ayton and Kristaps Porzingis.
Half the time, I don't even know Ayton's on the court.
Yes, you do. In this series?
In this series. Hey, there were in even games 1 and 2. I came in here, I said, he's Ayton. Like, I ain't seen him.
Skip, the man is
I'm
averaging.
serious.
Skip, he's 20 and 15.
Yeah, but he doesn't protect the rim like crazy. He's a little light in the back pocket. He can't stop LeBron from the rim. What do we say? LeBron's 6'9", 265?
Well, if he's light in the back pockets, what's Porzingis?
Okay, well, he doesn't even try.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's ridiculous.
So, imagine you said Paul George and Kawhi put their head down and go to the rim.
Yeah.
Okay, well, who's going to go to the rim with LeBron? You said Paul George and Kawhi. Okay, LeBron goes to the rim. Who's going to join him?
Nobody. Well, you tell me he's the best player on the planet.
Hey, Chris,
you keep saying he's the best player.
You see what he did?
Wait, did I say Kawhi's the best player on the planet? I did not. I said Kevin Durant is.
But hold on. Two people. But hold on. If Kevin Durant's the best player on the planet, he should have never left Russ because he could carry Russ. You see,
he carried Golden State to back-to-back championships.
He carried Golden State.
Well, he did. Who was the MVP of the finals? In LeBron's house. Twice.
That was a 73-win championship team.
Okay. With a two-time MVP?
Yeah, and Shannon told me that Draymond went into the parking lot crying after they blew the 3-1 lead. Please come save me, KD, please.
Two things
the
can be true.
The whole team went all the way out to the Hamptons to recruit him on July the 4th.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, that guy that KD joined in Golden State, is he top 3 MVP candidate this year, Chris Broussard? Did he lead the league in scoring this year? So that's the guy KD joined.
Who? Steph?
Yeah. Oh, Steph.
Wait, are they in the playoffs?
Take a surprise out your boys.
Wait, maybe I missed something. Are they a playoff team? I don't remember it.
I'm surprised. Steph? Yes,
Steph, who's come up small in just about every big playoff series he's played in. I can show you. Small.
All I'm saying is that I believe LeBron James, everybody, I think we're all in agreement. He's going to be over 30 points. You got him 14, 15 rebounds. I got him 14.
15, yeah.
I got him 14 rebounds.
I got him winning the game against a Chris Paul-led team. Look, Chris Paul is about 6 feet tall, right? I'm not even sure he's 6 feet tall. And I look at their records. Chris Paul in playoff games is 55-60 in his career. He's never been that great. LeBron is 174-90 in his career. LeBron has played almost 40 more playoff games than the entire Phoenix roster, including Chris Paul.
Yeah, but Skip, this is not one-on-one.
This is a night for LeBron. This is a legacy night, and I think he'll rise and shine in.
Well, let me ask you a question. Next to Dre Crowder, okay, who on the Lakers have played more playoff games than Dre Crowder? You say LeBron has played more than Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Who's on the Lakers?
Well, he's played more than the whole roster, almost 40 more. Gasol, that's why he should be in the starting lineup. He's played a bunch of games, right?
Phoenix has 3 of the 4 best players in the series without AD. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You agree with that?
Aiden, Booker, and Paul, and you got LeBron. Those are the 4 best players. So who's on the Lakers? Name the player that's on the Lakers other than LeBron that's better than those 3.
But the Lakers are deeper than Phoenix is. Deeper. Because KC3 is going to be back tonight, right?
How effective would it be?
Okay. And Wes Matthews has been very effective. And Caruso has been very effective, right?
I don't know.
Very effective.
Very effective.
What's effective for them? 10 points?
Well, they give you 10 or 12 each. You'll be fine.
Defense?
Well, if they give me
How about Schroeder? Is he not capable of going for 25?
Did you see what he did on Sunday?
Okay. Big game. Yeah, Schroeder needs to step up.
Yes.
If Schroeder steps up, has a 20-plus game.
Okay, now we on to something, Chris.
Right, now you're talking.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about who really, who needs to step up is the king. Because let's just keep this in perspective. You like context. In 4 games, he shot 32% from 3. Is that good? No, that's not very good. From the free throw line in the first 4 games, he's 59%, 10 of 17. Is that no? Look in the fourth quarters of the first 4 games. He's 1 of 9 from 3 and 6 of 12 from the free throw line. All that has to change tonight, and I believe he is capable of driving the basketball and getting to the free throw line, even if he makes 15 out of 20.
Chris, this is what's going to happen. LeBron James goes for 15, has 4 assists, 3 rebounds. They lose. He's going to say, well, where was LeBron in the first 3 quarters? You know what's coming, Chris. You know we can't win this.
I can't stop him from going 35, 15, and 10. I can't stop it. I can't defend him.
But you said it doesn't matter. You said it needs to be in a win. Only Michael Jordan can score a bunch of points and lose and still be anointed the GOAT, remember?
Well, if you score 63 at Boston Garden.
But you lost!
Yeah, against one of the historically greatest teams ever.
LeBron scores 51, 8, and 8 against one of the historically, they say it's the second greatest team of all time. But you won't give him credit for that.
I won't, because he had a shot on Steph Curry to win the game from 15 feet, and he turned it down.
And Jordan had a shot.
To pass it to George Hill?
In overtime, Chris
had a layup.
Chris, you remember that game? That 63-point game? Jordan missed a shot in overtime that would have won it.
No, he missed a shot at the end of regulation.
But see, Skip, I don't like bringing up old stuff. I don't like bringing that up.
What did Larry Bird call him after that? God and sneakers?
He called him a loser. Huh. That's what he said. He lost. That's what he called him.
I think he called him God, disguised as Michael Jordan. That's what he said. Larry Bird, your favorite player, said that after the game.
He was just, that's hyperbole.
Hyperbole. It's game over is what it is.
15, and 10. If he goes for your 35, 15, and 10, and they lose, is it going to be his fault?
Well, what happens in the fourth quarter? How close? Well, I need to know. What happens down the stretch?
12 points in the fourth quarter, 3 of 4 from the line.
Okay, then it wouldn't be his fault. I want to see it.
Okay,
I got to see it to believe it.
America, you heard that.
Yeah.
You heard what he said.
I did say that.
You coming here with no bull job.
Well, is he going to miss the last-second shot?
You think
I don't know.
You think he moved the goalpost again, Chris?
I remember being on TV with you 14 years ago, the day after LeBron went for 48 points and the Cavs last 25 in a win in Detroit, and you still criticize LeBron.
I was on vacation, and that's a fact. I was in Oklahoma City playing in a golf tournament.
You called in.
Win a bet? I did not call. I did not call in. Look it up. I wasn't on TV.
We didn't. It was
and by the way,
Jalen and you.
Didn't that game go 2 overtimes at the end of the first overtime?
It don't matter.
He missed a little bunny shot. He missed a bunny shot to win the game at the end of the first overtime. He did. Look it up. Go look it up. And the play-by-plays are up there right now.
Did he win?
Yep.
Okay,
won.
then. So all that other stuff should have been matter.
Did McDice foul out?
What they got to do with LeBron?
Yes. Well, everybody. What's his name?
Ben Wallace?
No, the other Rashid. He got thrown out. So the 2 big guys are gone.
So you blame
it's a super highway to the basket.
So you blame LeBron for that, huh?
No, I don't blame him. He took advantage of it.
Oh, you told him, say, go to the basket.
Way to go.
Oh, they had to foul him.
Yeah.
He fouled him out.
Skip is doing. You're setting him up.
Yeah,
you're setting him up for tomorrow.
Right. That's what I told the people that earlier.
Just do it, LeBron. Isn't that what the slogan is? Just do it.
Oh, just do it. Chris, we will bring you back in a little bit.
No mercy.
Tonight, it's an AL Central showdown on FS1. Tim Anderson leads the White Sox against Jose Ramirez and the Indians tonight at 5:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Well, as we all know, guys, LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, has become one of the biggest names when it comes to NBA agents. Despite this, in an interview with The New Yorker, Paul said there are still many challenges. He said, quote, "It's very difficult for me to represent a white player." Paul said he doesn't believe white domestic players want a black agent and that, quote, "there's always going to be that cloud over America." So, Shannon, what is your reaction to this? What do you have to say?
Well, it's true to a certain level. To a certain level, it is true, Skip. And I think the thing is, a lot of that has to do with, Skip, for the longest time when you get someone to represent you, you like to think that they've had money. They've been in position to manage people with money. And for the longest time, black didn't have representation in that field. It's nice to see guys like Rich Paul and B.J. Armstrong be in that field and give the opportunity to give players of color opportunities to say, you know what? I don't just have to go with a white agent. And for the longest time, that was really the choices that they had, Skip. And I know Rich Paul catches a lot of criticism because of LeBron. But people didn't have a problem with David Falk. David Falk represented damn near half the NBA, Skip, and you know that. He had Michael Jordan with his famous, but he had Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo. He had go back and look at the list of clients that David Falk had. And you look at Dan Fagan, and you look at Bill Duffy and Leon Rose before he took over. They had guys, and nobody offered criticism. Rich Paul get LeBron, and then he get Anthony Edwards, he got AD, and he get a few other guys. Whoa, what he doing? He doing something wrong. That's just the way it is. Skip, they said, okay, you didn't really need a degree. You can get certified to be an agent. Rich Paul started getting clients. Well, we're going to do away with certification. You got to go to school and get a 4-year degree. They do everything they possibly can. Skip, as a player, you should be able to choose whomever you want, who's the best suits you. Skip, obviously, being a professional athlete, I had an opportunity to, but at the time, when I interview somebody, who's going to be the best fit for me?
Yep.
It's not for me. It was never about the. I wanted to have a personal relationship, and that's what I've been. I mean, I've had the same agent for 25 years, and so we have a relationship. But Rich is right, Skip. It's hard. I don't know. I can't honestly say, Skip, that I know any. Even when I was in the league, I don't know of a white player that had a black agent. There weren't very many. Eugene Parker. that I can, Lamont Smith.
Yep.
There were a few, Skip. There were a few.
Hey, Eugene Parker, all-timer.
Yeah, Eugene, rest his soul. He represented time. He represented a lot. Rocky Arsenault. Now David Muguleta is a very prominent young brother out of Austin. He's doing a great job. But Skip, I just think the thing is that a lot of times for whites, they normally do things that I'm going to get somebody that looks like me, talks like me, traveling the same circle. And I'm glad, like I said, Rich Paul, B.J. Armstrong, some of the other guys have given men of color that's in profession, giving them opportunities to branch out and say, you know what, you just don't have to accept that. There are people that look like you that can set you on the right track and help you get to financial security also.
Okay. So, Rich said in the New Yorker article, one big picture comment was, I think there's always going to be that cloud over America. Got it. Agree. Now let's go smaller picture.
Yes.
Rich, I've said many times on this show, I love Rich Paul. I think he's really, really good at what he does. And it wasn't because LeBron staked him or opened the doors for him. It's because he can do it in and of himself on his own. He can stand tall. He's not the tallest man, but he stands tall as an agent. And all I can say is if I played in the NBA, and I'm obviously white, I would want him to be my agent because he's top drawer to me. That's just me. I've got a great agent now. Nick Connie's the best sports media agent, so I don't need Rich in my endeavor, my field of endeavor. But the point is that I looked down the list. He was talking about American white players. He's got Nurkic, who's obviously from Bosnia. So he said they're different. He said the Euros are different. But you look down the list of white players, and I'm thinking, who would Rich want? Which of the American white players would he even sort of stoop to represent? Because it's not a great list. Because at the top would be an aging Kevin Love, who's made 5 All-Star teams. I'm not sure he'll make another one again,
No, probably not.
Gordon Hayward made 1 All-Star team. I don't know if he'll make another one. I don't know, maybe he will. But those are the only 2 white American players who have made an All-Star team. Then we keep going down the list. Joe Harris, he's a great shooter, But is he a great player? No. Then we get your Lakers, Alex Caruso, maybe.
But I think the thing is for Rich is that they don't even open their minds to even think that that's a possibility.
Okay, maybe so. But would they? Would Alex Caruso want Rich Paul to represent him? I think he would, but I don't know. I can't speak for Alex. But again, Rich has got like 7 Lakers, right? Okay, so why wouldn't he want 8? There's Grayson Allen. There's Joe Ingles. Tyler Hero had a great first year, and then he sort of started
We went to the
regress.
bubble.
Yeah, he bubbled.
Yeah,
he went bubblicious in the bubble, right?
Exactly.
But did he regress a bit here this year?
Yes.
I think so. And then you got his teammate Duncan Robinson and Olynyk and Herter in Atlanta starting to come alive, and Mason Plumlee and Connaughton and Doug McDermott and Frank Kaminsky's having some moments. Cody Zeller, T.J. McConnell. I love to watch him, but would Rich want to represent him? I don't know. So that's about it. So my point is, I get the premise of it, but I'm just not sure. Rich he's a super agent. I don't know that he would want anybody on this list
I mean, I don't know how it is now, but there were a lot of times that if you weren't a top, draft pick or a big valuable player, when I was first got into the league, the big guys didn't want to touch the guys that were 5th and 6th rounders. And I get it. Ain't really a whole lot of money. Skip, hell, I signed for $20,000. Now guys in the 6th round getting $300,000-400,000. So I get it. But for me,
but some might want to bet on the come. They might see something in you that.
Well, ain't nobody saw anything in me.
You were a Sharpe, right?
Well, I got my brother's agent, so he worked for free. He did the contract for free.
Did he?
Yeah, I could get. You want to take 3% of my little $22,000? Damn.
Take 10% of it.
They take 3% of my little $22,000. Skip, I only made $63,000 my first year, so like $85,000. But taxes to give him 3%, I couldn't give him nothing.
What was your brother making at that point?
Well, he was the 7th pick in the first round, so he was making good. So you pay it. But Skip, for me, I'm just glad that that more guys like Rich and more guys like B.J. Armstrong in the NFL, David Muguleta and some of these other guys that are giving blacks. And Skip, if more blacks are like going in that direction. Like, okay, we keep saying black on. We keep saying, you know, we're going to grace our community. We're going to do, okay.
Now, that is a fact. It's going full force that direction.
Yeah, you know, you see Deshaun and Jalen Ramsey with Mughal, a lot of these Rocky Arsenal. So I'm happy to see that. But for me, you get someone that you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with a black guy, get a black guy. If you're comfortable with a white guy, because at the end of the day, Skip, you're going to have a personal relationship. Someone that you really trust, because, you know, guys, Skip, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. You really need someone you can trust. I'm talking about that's family. That I can pick up the phone at any time of the night and call him, and I get you on the phone.
Hey, I consider that the essence of your career.
Yes.
It's the number one building block to have a successful career. Is you better have that guy in place, and you better be able to trust him.
You got to. You got to.
No mercy. While Tim Tebow battles for a roster spot in Jacksonville, according to the latest report, there is one common complaint from Tebow's former coaches. It's that Tebow doesn't do anything to actively calm down the Tebow mania hype that always surrounds him wherever he goes. Chris Broussard is back with us. But Shannon, I will start with you here. Is this a valid criticism about Tebow?
Skip, I don't really know how you tell someone, media don't cover me. He's just being him. I think the complaint that a lot of people that had some in the locker room, some upstairs, is that Tim Tebow did things the day of the game that they didn't necessarily like. They felt that all the things with your foundation could have been handled away from the game. So come game day, especially Skip, that position. You know that position requires you a little bit more. It's a little bit more cerebral. So they expect you to, like, okay, be ready to go play. His teammates look at it. Because, Skip, I'm looking at my team, okay, I need you ready to play, bro. Not up there, you know, taking pictures and shaking hands. That's fine and good. I'm glad you're charitable. I'm glad you're giving back. But today, let's make this about us. And I think that was the biggest thing. But I don't know what Tim Tebow can say. Media don't cover me. Media, if I say something, don't print what I say. I don't really know what they want him to do. Maybe they're saying he didn't do anything, which means, Skip, he didn't scale back some of the things that was garnering the kind of attention that he was getting. Maybe that's what, but I don't really know what a player. LeBron can't say media at all. He LeBron. Tom Brady, he's Tom. So the media's going, he does, the media's going to come. So maybe scaling back some of the things that he did on game day, maybe that would have curtailed some of it. But I don't really know what Tim per se could have done other than that. I mean, you guys not going to come out and speak, say media don't do this stuff. I don't think he's going to do that. But I just think the thing is a lot of people that I talked to said it was like Tim relished, he cherished it, he looked for the attention, and he wanted more of it. And that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree with you, Shannon, in terms of what could he do? If he held a press conference and said, you know, don't cover me, don't print what I say, don't let me be a distraction, it could come off as arrogant, it could come off as insincere, or it could come off as ungrateful. Like if he talked about not liking Tebow mania or all of the hype, and it could come off as disrespectful to his fans. So I don't know what he could have done. Colin Kaepernick has not said hardly a word, you know, since he's been out of the league or even when the controversy was going on. And yet if he were brought back to a team, obviously it would be a distraction just because of what he stood for and what he stands for. And so I don't know what Tebow could really do. You know, I haven't seen him go out there and hunt for the publicity and hunt for the fame. And here's what I'd say. Why should he tamp it down? He's not trying to outshine Trevor Lawrence. You know, he wasn't trying to get more pub than Jacob deGrom and the rest of the New York Mets when he signed with their farm team. This is a guy that has not made a lot of money from professional sports because he hasn't had a long career. And so he does need to make a living, whether it's broadcasting, it's his endorsements, whatever. His fame helps him make a living. So I don't know why he would tamp it down, even if he could. But I'm with Shannon. I don't really think there's anything he could do about it.
Okay, so if we look hard at how Tim Tebow has handled the media, since he first starting games for Denver late in the 2010 season. He started 3 games.
Yep, last 3.
That was after Josh McDaniels had been fired.
Correct.
And then he started the 6th game of the year the next year in 2011 after they had fallen to 1-4.
Correct.
So he starts the rest of that year. And I know for a fact we tried to get him to do a 6 or 8 minute interview when I was on First Take back in 2011, and we couldn't get him because he was doing no interviews except for his, is it a Wednesday media availability after Wednesday's practice, or maybe it's before practice, before practice, and then he would do the post game, and that was all, twice a week. And so it wasn't like he was trying to fuel his own fire through interviews. And then the irony of this whole question is, you brought up Colin Kaepernick. Colin is a great public speaker, and I wish I could hear more from him because he's so good at it. Tim's not very good at it. He works to say nothing and usually says less than nothing.
Yes.
Obviously, if you ask him about his religion, he will tell you about, he will give you his testimony. Very quickly, he will talk about it, and the media fixates on that. But the rest of it, talking football, talking life, talking whatever, Tim's not very good at that. It's bland, it's cliche-ridden to a fault, and it's not like he tried to feed the frenzy, the Tebow mania frenzy, by doing interviews every day of the week. It's not like he was on Good Morning America and then CBS Morning Show, and then nope, he didn't do any of them. With the whole year, I finally got a second interview. I got one quick one, 3/4 through that first year, and then I got a sit down with him at the Super Bowl that year after they had obviously lost to New England. It was in Indianapolis, and he sat down. I think it was the only interview he did at the Super Bowl, and he was there, to Chris's point, to make money because he was promoting various products.
Well, Skip, I got to sit down with him also in 2011, and probably the only reason I got to sit down, I was Bronco, I was with the Broncos, and you know, and he sat down with me.
What time of year?
It was actually during the season. It was probably week 10, week 9 or 10.
Okay, that's about when we got him on First Take.
Skip, but I think the thing was, I thought that he went out of his way to make sure he didn't stumble, make sure he said nothing that was controversial, make sure everything was, as you said, he spoke in cliches. You know, I just want to be the best teammate. I just want to make sure I study hard. It was just like almost everything, like, bro, you know, you can't just like, how you really feel. I know this is not how you really feel, and I'm not saying you need to say anything that's going to open up a can of worms, but I felt that he went really, really hard, Chris, and tried to make sure he said nothing. And so for me, I was like, okay, guarded. A lot of guys, you know, Skip, once you reach a certain level, you become guarded because you know all the eyes are on you, and the least slightest misstep is magnified 10,000 times. And so I get that to a certain extent. But for me, like I said, for me, when I look at Tim, it's never been, and Skip, I think this started like in college when he put 316 of them on his eye black, on the little tape on his eye black. I think that's when it started then. But that really never bothered me.
John 3:16, a Bible verse.
Right, the Bible verse. Skip, that really never bothered me at the end of the day, because Chris, and I know you know Reggie White. Reggie almost every time. Reggie, you come around Reggie, he gonna talk to you, you know, you go Bible study, Pro Bowl, Reggie have Bible study, he gonna put his arms around you. But it didn't bother, I don't think maybe it rubbed some people the wrong way, and maybe they avoided him, maybe they didn't. But I think because Reggie was such a great player, people didn't focus on his religion because he was such a great player. Well, Tim Tebow is not the player, so I think maybe people focus on the religion. I don't know what it is, but I've never seen anything like the phenomenon that Tim Tebow is. I've never seen anything like it. If he was Tom Brady, I get it. But I don't even know if Tom Brady moves the needle quite like Tim Tebow does. And I've never, like I said, in no sport, I've never seen anything like Tim Tebow.
Well, he's simply the most polarizing athlete in the history of sports, I believe. Go ahead, Chris.
Tebow, the most polarizing?
Yep.
It's when you compare, when you talk about LeBron, you talk about historically great figures. Think about Jordan, historically great figure. Tom Brady, historically great figure. You talk about Tim Tebow, is like, he's really a marginal player.
Yeah, if that. But the interesting thing about Tebow is, like you said, Shannon, everybody focuses on his religion. And yes, he had the 316 on his eye black, but he really doesn't like go out of his way to just put it in everybody's face. You know, he's open about it. He's unashamed about it. But it's not like you said, like Reggie White, where he's saying it every time he talks. He's talking about his religion. But I think it's because of his story. You know, he's the son of missionaries and things like that. And a lot of it you hear from his teammates or his coaches. Like, I think of Urban Meyer talking about how great of a teammate. I'm not talking about recently, but when Tebow was at Florida, and how great of a leader and a teammate and how inspirational he is. A lot of that talk comes from the other people in his locker room publicly. And so I don't know that Tebow's fueled it. I think some of the popularity, look, when you're a Christian in this society, you do take pride in seeing other Christians who are, you know, popular and celebrities and successful in whatever their career is, and they're known in society. So a lot of Christians do look at a Tim Tebow and take pride in him standing up for the Lord in such a public way. So I think that has something to do with his popularity. But I don't think he's gone out of his way to necessarily promote his religion more than just answering questions honestly about it.
Okay, yet, Chris, you just said that he's even less than, what did you call him, a marginal player. And Chris said, marginal? If that, marginal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I see it completely different because when he was given his chance to start in 2011 for a 1-4 team, his QBR in the last 5 minutes of those starts was #1 in the NFL because he was as clutch a player in a small sample size as I have ever seen. He pulled out of the fire one win after another, turned the Broncos into the #1 rushing attack in pro football, and they won the division from coming from 1-4 and won a home playoff game. And then can you explain to me why he never was even given the opportunity to start another game in the NFL? And my theory is that, back to religion, it was the media's sort of frenzied focus on Tebow's religion. He would Tebow, as they called it, Tebowing, you know, he would kneel after a touchdown, give thanks to the Lord above. And that focus created such a media circus distraction for the next 3 teams that had him in that he was never even given a chance to start another game, and they couldn't get rid of him fast enough.
But didn't the media help create Tebow? Didn't the media help create him?
Well, he created himself at Florida. He did win a Heisman Trophy and 2 national championships.
But the coverage that they offered about him, normally when you talked about Florida, it was normally about, because they had some other really good players, but Tebow was always the central figure. But when you think about it, Chris, the likelihood of a straight, white, Christian male being discriminated against in America, really?
Well, on an NFL level, he was. Well, he's never even given another chance to start a game after he won a division championship.
But there have been other blacks that never got a chance. That never even got the chance that Tebow was given.
Okay, but did he not seize the opportunity?
Go ahead, Chris.
I don't think his religion had anything to do with it. I mean, you see it differently than me. Yeah, it was something magical going on that one season for those 1 quarters, not the first 3 quarters. At the end of games, yes, something was happening where he was able to win games. But we all know he really can't throw the football that well, which is obviously necessary at quarterback. And I think if he had been a starting caliber quarterback, especially a really good one, his religion wouldn't have had anything to do with it.
Zero.
I mean, Steph Curry is as much of a Christian as Tim Tebow is. And his religion doesn't hinder him or hold him back in any way, shape, or form. You mentioned Reggie White, Shannon. There's a lot. You guys know. I mean, some aren't as outspoken or some aren't even as known. But there are a lot of Christians in professional sports. And I don't think it would have done Drew Brees. There's another one just off the top of my head. Well, I don't think his religion had anything to do with it.
Well, I do.
Think it was
I think it had everything to do.
He couldn't really play the quarterback. But here's the thing,
Chris,
if he was good enough,
he won the division.
No
how can you not play quarterback and win the division with the 1-4 team? How can you throw for 316 yards in a playoff game against Pittsburgh without being able to throw?
What percentage of his passes did he complete?
47%.
I mean, Skip, come on.
In today's NFL.
He won the division and a playoff game. He is unconventional, but he is unconventionally great.
No, Skip, stop saying that he's unconventionally great. Stop
he
it.
is, right?
But I've never, hold on. Chris, when do we do this? We only take the last 5 minutes of anything, be it basketball, any football. We don't do that with any other player, only with Tebow, because that's the only way to make him look like he can play, is that we take the last 5 minutes of a ball game. But the game is 60 minutes. So you only focus on the 5 minutes?
Well, we do it with LeBron because he's not very good
No, you do it. You do it. You do it. You started it. You started that foolishness.
Oh, it's foolishness.
You have plenty to say when it comes to LeBron. Okay, Chris, that was really interesting. Good stuff, guys. The more I think about Tebow, the more I think about Urban and his reputation. It's on the line here. If he didn't think Tebow had a shot, I have to trust Urban and his opinion about the guy. I do, because we're going to keep talking about it. Oh, and by the way, 100 days until the NFL season kicks off. So the countdown is on.
No mercy.
On Sunday, NASCAR's best season ever continues as the Cup Series pulls into Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350, where the best drivers in the world look to hit victory lane in wine country. How about that one? Sunday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Well, LeBron and the 7-seed Lakers have a big road matchup against Chris Paul and the 2-seed Suns in a pivotal Game 5 tonight. To make things more difficult for LeBron, Anthony Davis is reportedly unlikely to play due to a groin injury, which led to Phoenix becoming, now guys, 5.5-point favorites in the matchup. So that has since shifted since our show started. So Shannon, who wins tonight and what is the score?
Skip, I got the Suns winning a very close ball game, 100-96. I got LeBron going for 33, 14, and 8. He's going to have to play like he did in Cleveland, Skip. And I think the thing is that very few people have been able to control the game as good as LeBron James has. And he's going to have to be able to control the ball. He's going to have to limit the possessions, limit the turnovers, and then hope that he can get some quality shot making from some of the role players. You say KCP is going to be back. How effective will he be if he returns? Schroeder's going to have to play like he did in Game 3, not like he played in Game 4. And they're going to have to, Kuzma's going to have to give them something. Kuz needs to give them somewhere between 18 and 20 points. A good 18 and 20.
He's capable.
He's more than capable. And they got to play smart. LeBron James cannot be the only one that has a great basketball IQ tonight. You can't turn the ball over. You can't foul guys on three-point shots. You just can't do the dumb things that cause you to lose ball games in moments like this. But I say the series is going 7 games. I got the Suns winning this game 100-96.
So, and then you got Lakers in 6 and 7?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Here I am. I'm LeBron's biggest fan.
You ain't no LeBron fan. Nobody know you ain't no LeBron fan. Stop saying that.
I believe this is a golden opportunity for LeBron James. I think this is a legacy opportunity with no AD at Phoenix against Chris Paul, obviously on national TV. And I think he will seize the opportunity because I don't think Phoenix is that good. I have not been that impressed with Phoenix. I haven't been that impressed yet with LeBron, but tonight should be different.
Yeah.
The first crucial change is you need to get the big penguin out of the lane and on the bench.
Nope.
I'm sorry, he's a lane.
Who's gonna get the rebounds?
He's a lane clogger and a ball stopper, and you need to clear a super highway for LeBron to get to the basket repeatedly.
If Drum is not in there, who's going to rebound the basketball?
Gasol, Kuzma, that they can rebound. And LeBron can get rebounds.
But you see Kuzma, Gasol, they put him in the high pick and roll. And then guys get the 10-foot jumper, or they get to the rim, or they lob the 8.
Here's what doesn't scare me about Devin Booker. He's not a three-point shooter. So with a crazed crowd in Phoenix tonight, you can't light the fire from 3. That's how you get shot out of the gym, is with three-point shots in today's basketball. Look at Devin Booker from 3 in the first 4 games. He's 5 of 19. That's 26%.
Right.
In the last 3 games, he's 2 of 12. That's 17%. He just doesn't have, it's weird. He's got range up to 18 feet, 20 feet, and then all of a sudden he has no range.
Right.
Well, that doesn't work. I wouldn't fear him tonight. Chris Paul's not a great three-point shooter, especially as he's coming off his shoulder or neck, whatever his issue is.
There's nothing wrong with Chris Paul. That's what you told me about.
Okay, well, I don't think there is anything wrong with him, but I don't think he can shoot you out of the gym. He gave you his best shot the other day. He had 18 and 9 assists, and that's probably what he'll give you tonight.
Right.
And Ayton is not a strong, powerful force as a rim protector, and LeBron can challenge him and beat him at the rim.
Skip, the man give you 18 and 18.
Okay.
Damn, what more you want from
rebounds,
him?
But I'm talking about rim protection. Sometimes he just completely disappears. LeBron can destroy the rim tonight. He will. I've got him 35, 15, and 10.
I'm not concerned about LeBron. I'm concerned about the other guys that play alongside LeBron.
Okay. Well, I got it 110, 105 Lakers, and I think LeBron will rise and shine, and he won't need that much help tonight.
We're going to have to wait and see, and we will be all over it tomorrow morning. I promise you that.
No mercy.
Oh, well, interesting you bring up the Packers, Colin, because they could free up over $16 million in cap space if they traded Aaron Rodgers after today. But according to a report from The Athletic, the Packers are sticking with their stance that they will not be trading the reigning MVP. So, Shannon, what is your gut feeling on where Rodgers is this coming season?
I believe they need to move on, Skip. For the simple fact is that the one thing I can count on when Aaron Rodgers does an interview, I threw a wrench in their plans this year by winning the MVP. Yep. He always says that. So he knows what they were trying to do, Skip, when they selected Jordan Love. Yep. They wanted to be able to move on after this year from Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron says, you know what? I'm going to speed your timeline up. You got your guy. You wanted me to move on. Let me go.
I am not buying that. The Packers have not shown any indication of even shopping him. By all indications, according to The Athletic, they are dug in. We will not trade him.
Okay.
It could be a stalemate of a holdout through training camp. It may be a few days before the regular season opening Sunday.
Right.
And yet he wants a 3-year deal, new guaranteed money to stay in Green Bay, and I believe he will be a Packer till death do them part.
Well, how much you going to give me?
Well, you want him in Denver. It's as simple as that.
We got money for him. We got plenty of money for him.
Well, how many cases you want to bet he's a Packer?
Oh, you wanted to be a Packer.
I don't want him to be a Packer. I just think he's going to be.
Well, I wanted to, y'all trade him, Skip. You said he was for the last 3 years, his number was going down.
Yeah. And then he won the MVP.
Oh, exactly.
You said Aaron Rodgers to Denver, Shannon, on this
Broncos,
show. I should have
baby.
kept count, honestly. All right, enjoy Lakers Suns tonight. We will be all over it tomorrow morning. The Herd is next. Have a good one.